Today is Sunday, the 27th of March, 2022, and we are making our way from Tucson, Arizona to Yuma, Arizona, or just east of Yuma, Arizona at the RV park. And we're at a rest area right now, and Remy's up there on the couch. She's got her head on the back cushion looking out at me. And just wanted to stop and take a look at this because A, we're in a really pretty area, and B, I'm ahead of time to arrive at the RV park, so thought, you know, it doesn't hurt anything to take a few minutes to pull off to the side of the road and check this out. So yeah, just some really pretty mountains out there in the distance over there, as well as to the south over here. Just really enjoying all the scenery that I'm seeing on this trip. Remy and I are both doing fine. The Allegro bus is doing great. And we just continue to move on from one stop to the next. I did take care of a little maintenance today. We were at a rest stop. The air conditioning wasn't working quite as well as I would have liked, so I charged that with some Freon, and that's now nice and polar cold in there. So all in all, we're doing fine. We'll be heading off to the RV park here in a moment, and we'll check in with you when we get there. So that's next. Well, let's see. Welcome to the Lazy Coyote RV park here east of Yuma, Arizona. We're about a quarter mile north of I-10, and this RV park was purchased by some new owners and cleaned up, and then they have themselves some new park managers. My spot seems to be totally fine, good electric, good water, hopefully good sewer. But yeah, it's a nice little park here in east of Yuma, and looking forward to spending a week and getting some work done, and then heading on home to San Diego. So stay tuned for our adventures. Well, hi there. I'm teleworking out here today, and it's kind of interesting. It's what is this? Today is the 28th of March 2022, and it's breezy out here today. I'm east of Yuma, Arizona. It's overcast, and it's about 74 out. It's almost like I'm at the coast, but there's no surf. But it's interesting because there's this cool breeze, which is kind of nice. I'm sitting outside the motorhome. Bonus. So yeah, life is good. And we're gonna go over and take a look at the park here next. And here's the park that is across the lane, if you will, from the Lazy Coyote RV park. And actually it's a nice view from here at the park. So I'm just across the road from the Lazy Coyote RV park here in Wetland, Arizona, and just checking out some of the scenery here. Actually, I'm north of the Lazy Coyote RV park. Very pretty today. As you can see, It's really beautiful here, out here in the western part of Arizona, as we're looking at the mountains that are pretty much surround this entire region. So Remy and I came out to check out a park here in Yuma. It's called the West Wetland Park, and thought it was kind of cool. Back behind me here, there's this fishing pond that, as long as you got a valid Arizona fishing license, you can come out and fish, and apparently it's stocked with trout and various other species, so that's kind of cool. There's also ducks of all shapes and sizes here, and down on that rock, on the left hand side of that rock, you can see a tortoise that is or turtle that is sunning himself on the rock. So that's pretty cool. So there he is, he's sunning himself. Of course, people throwing trash, or trash is blown into the pond. So we're out here at the boat launch at the West Wetlands Park here in Yuma, Arizona. And I can see why people would just come here and hang out. Very quiet and peaceful. Well, Remy and I are making our way towards the Castle Dome Mine and Ghost Town, and we're passing through the Yuma Proving Grounds facility to get there. So we are turning off onto Castle Dome Mine.
Continue on Castle Dome Mine Road for 8 miles.
And you'll see that the mountains ahead of me, and I'm thinking that one nubby that's sticking up that's got like a dome top on it is probably Castle Dome, but that's just a guess. So we'll see what we see when we get there. Well, for those of you that were along for the ride earlier on in this trip, when I was going to the Chaco Canyon National Park, I was on a road very similar to this, although it was a lot smoother than this one. It also was a state highway. This one is not even a state highway, so I don't know that I'm expecting much, but I've got about 9 miles of this to go on, so I'm gonna get my fillings checked. Stay tuned. Well, here we are at the Castle Dome Mine Ghost Town and Museum. So we're gonna go check that out next. So we're walking through the ghost town. This is Adam's cabin. Makes my motorhome look luxurious. Come on, Remy. Come on, sweetheart. So this mine was only 16 feet deep, and they got about 45 ounces per ton of silver out of it, as well as lead as a byproduct. The lead was a profitable byproduct in that it was mined during World War I and World War II, and the lead could be used for armaments during those conflicts. This building is the old schoolhouse. And for those of you who didn't like word problems, even back in the day, they had word problems. The cost of grain is 5 cents per pound. You have $1 to spend. How many pounds of grain can you buy? That'd be 20. But that's kind of a realistic word problem, right? Here's the old barber shop. And if you look carefully, you can make out that that first letter really was a D for dome on top of the barber shop. And this building here, looks like we got the stamp mill that they probably put the ore in through, and it crushes the ore into little pieces. That's very cool. I haven't seen any water around here, so my guess is that it was probably a steam-driven stamp mill. And looks like we had a little rupture there, but they've got a another version to run it when they do demonstrations. Very cool building, very cool. Here's the inside of the gas station. And the bedroom for the proprietor of the gas station. Little bar action. Very cool. Very nicely done. Cigarette dispenser. This is the mercantile store. I can see this is an old mercantile store. And in the back of the mercantile store, you got old Doc Carter's dentist office. And here's old Doc Carter's dentist office. And then we have the hotel and the sheriff's office. And the church. And we'll go into the church first. Pipe organ. Very cool. Now we go over to the sheriff's office. And yes, sheriff's office complete with the jail cell. It kind of reminds me of Mayberry RFD. Just one jail cell and the sheriff's office. And we go into the hotel. And we've got the check-in desk. The lobby. And the bar. Stairs are blocked off up to the rooms. But then I presume back here we might have a restaurant. Oh, it's a casino. Got it. That makes more sense. Next we have Lottie's Dress Shop. Where stuff is made from scratch, I presume. You have your bank. With a teller. And I presume there was probably a doorway there. Maybe not. And the banker's desk and the safe. So maybe what they did is they cashed all the pay vouchers here that people got from the mine. But it makes sense that you'd have to have a bank. And then we've got your cookhouse, meals served all hours, or meals all hours, presumably served all hours. And this is where you got your mining equipment and your, you get your picks, but you also had horsing implements. Of course, your high explosive dynamite. And there was another saloon here. And they even had printing press. So there's several RVs out here at the Castle Dome Mine ghost town. And as I drove in here, I was like, this is a little sketchy because all I see is RVs out here. But as you saw, there's quite the ghost town to it. And it's very fascinating. The road is about 8 miles of dirt road. It's a military road because it's part of the Yuma Proving Grounds. So yeah, your car's going to get dirty and it's going to be a bit of a bumpy ride. It is $15 to get in per person, but very enjoyable, very fascinating, very well maintained. I asked the lady about the glass in the buildings and she says it's all original. So for that to have withstood the test of time over the decades is pretty fascinating. So Remy and I would give this 2 thumbs up or 2 paws up, whatever. Definitely come out and check it out. Well, hi there. And Remy is getting a bath today. This is how we wash the dog. Wash the dog, wash the dog. This is how we wash the dog. Oh, Remy. This is how we wash the dog. Wash the dog, wash the dog. This is how we wash the dog. The dog, Remy. Okay, so then we got her watered down. And we do some soap. And we give her a massage. So now I gotta use two hands, and I didn't bring the tripod, so that's all you get to see, because now I gotta use the other hand. So just take my word for it. We'll show her to you in a minute when she's all dried up. And she shakes off, and then she gets a little towel drying action. Come here, big girl. Come here. Yeah, so we got her soaped up, we got her rinsed off. I soaped her for like a minute and rinsed her for like 4. So hopefully she's all de-soaped. I didn't feel any soap on my hands, so that's good. And then we give her, and then we give her a toweling, and then she says, "I'm not done, Dad. Keep doing it." Spins around and gives me that, "Dad, I'm not done." She is a good dog, though. She is just the best traveling dog, and she, puts up with a lot from Dad, so that's good. Mwah! I love you, baby girl. Well, I'm here at the Yuma Territorial Prison State Historical Park, and gonna check out this state park today for the state of Arizona. Dogs are not welcome, so Remy's staying in the motorhome this morning, and I'm gonna go check this out. So let's see what we got to see. So looking down on the grounds of the old Yuma Territorial State Prison, and directly in front of us we've got the prison cemetery. So the prison first opened in 1876 and remained open until 1909. The prison had both male and female inmates in it, and it was subjected to a number of changes over the years, some of them man-made and some of them forced by progress and others forced by Mother Nature, such as flooding. So this is the Sally Port, and I've always wondered this. The term Sally Port comes from Salir's Port la Puerta, which is Spanish meaning of going out the door. And at either end of a Sally Port are gates that close it off so that the vehicle entering can be fully enclosed. You can close the outer gates and then open the inner gates so that the vehicle can continue through. And now we're making our way to the actual prison building, which is now the museum.
We indeed, Italian after 1 month of service.
So Yuma ended up with the first Arizona state prison, and that was by virtue of the fact that a state senator at the state meeting where they were deciding where the capital would be and where the university would be, all the senators had walked out of the room to go have lunch. One senator from representing the Yuma area stayed behind, and he changed the bill. He scratched out Phoenix and changed it to Yuma. And so when everybody came back from lunch, they were eager to call it a day. And so without really going through the text again, they approved the bill and it was in the bill that Yuma would be the place where the prison would be located. And so now we will look inside the...
How about some water over here? It is so gall darn hot in here. My name is William H. Loose to Know, but people know me here as Three-Fingered Jack.
This is a view down the cell block. The interesting thing about the way these cells are built is the doors, if you open the outer door, it opens the inner door. And the doors are separated long enough to keep the prisoner from reaching through to a guard that's out here in the cell block. That's why there's two doors. And it's got that crossbar, as you see down at the bottom and also at the top, that actuates the doors together. And you can see they've got a long arm to keep the inmates from reaching the padlock and picking the lock. And there's actually one cell that's actually open. And you get to look at the very interesting, very cool. So the dark cell is basically solitary confinement, and it's got no windows, and it's just a cell in a dark granite room. I really can't see much in here. It's 15 by 15, and there could be multiple people in here at one time. There was no bathroom, didn't even have a bucket. Every man was brought in here, stripped down to his undershorts, and served out his time in here. Hundreds. The infirmary had at its disposal some of the finest medical equipment available for that time period. And here's a look inside the ladies' cell here at the prison. During the time the prison was open, 23 women had been housed off and on here at the prison. Another interesting tidbit about the prison is that after the prison closed, it served as Yuma High School for a number of years in the early 1910s. And one time the prison high school football, well, the high school football team, because it was no longer an active prison, they were playing Phoenix, Arizona High, and they called them, the Phoenix high school kids called the Yuma kids a bunch of criminals. So the Yuma high school kids wore that as a badge of honor, and now their mascot is the Crims, or the criminals. And here's the main guard tower. We're going to go up and check that out next. So I'm making my way up the staircase here to the main guard tower, which is right above. But as you can see, there's the water tank for the Territorial prison. And here's the Territorial prison as seen from the main guard tower. It's actually got an amazing view of the Yuma Valley here. For the springtime, I have really enjoyed staying here in Yuma. I can't imagine that July and August are much fun, but at least the springtime, this has been a great place to come and visit, and I'm sure that's why many snowbirds come here in the winter as well. Just continuing along the view from the main guard tower here. So I'm headed back towards camp, and parked on the siding here is a freight train, and it's bound from the west coast inward, and you see it off to the right, and it's just amazing to me the amount of freight that I have seen coming in off the Pacific Ocean ports going past Yuma here has just been phenomenal just during the week that I'm here. And just thrilled with how through government and private sector cooperation they have managed to get the ports back open and freight being delivered from them. It's just wonderful to see. I should mention that this train is not unusual. In the 6 days that I've been here, easily 5 trains like that per day go through this area with all that freight on there. It's quite extensive, the amount of freight that's gone through here. Well, hi there. Today is Saturday, the 2nd of April, 2022. And tomorrow we're going to be heading out to San Diego, leaving Yuma, Arizona here and heading to San Diego. It's been another wonderful stop. Got to see a lot of stuff. Some things I didn't get to see that I'd hoped to, but I should have paid better attention to the hours that these places were open. But nonetheless, the places that I got to see were great. The ghost town at Dome Castle, or Castle Dome, ghost town, the Yuma Territorial Prison, and there was a third thing that Remy and I went to go see, and now I can't remember what it was, but that's all right. I'm getting old. I guess that's the excuse. At any rate, I did see 3 things when I was here. I enjoyed all 3 immensely, and you know, got the motorhome windshield wiped off so I can see out of it tomorrow. Got the front end cleaned off from all the bug splatter from the trip into Yuma, and pretty much just waiting to go. Doing some laundry right now, getting some things wrapped up, and just have kind of a relaxing evening here at camp, getting ready for tomorrow. So got about a 200-mile drive to San Diego tomorrow, Pio Pico Thousand Trails RV Park, and looking forward to that. I'm going to start planning out what I'm going to do in San Diego and just continue on, you know, with the exploration of where I go. So that's about it from here. Hope you have safe travels. Check in with us next week when I'll have the report on what we did in San Diego. Actually going to be in San Diego 2 weeks, so not quite sure how I'm going to play that, but I think I'm going to go ahead and do it just every week like I have been. So take care, safe travels, and we'll be in touch.